Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I'm doing a little bit of an update video to yesterday's video. More or less, this video is its own separate thing, right? Like, this is more or less like the rabbit hole itself that we're going to be talking about. Yesterday, I talked about how FTX, during their insolvency and everything, has now apparently been hacked, quote unquote, and potentially billions of dollars of customers' money has now disappeared from the platform. But it seems like as the hours pass, right, there's new information coming out about this story. There's new things that we're learning about this in general that we can kind of use to piece everything together. And I don't think we're going to know everything for a while, to be fair, but even right now, this is an insane story. Like, we're going to be going into detail about some of these things, and like, the deeper we go into it, the more your mind is going to be blown, because like, I've got a really good feeling, dude, in the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to be getting some Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street-esque, Enron scandal kind of situation movie out of this whole thing. There's definitely gonna be a Netflix series about this or something, man. Like, this situation is so crazy. It's literally like you can't even write this kind of thing. This is just one of those things that happens so coincidentally that like you can't even piece it together enough to write something like this, dude. This would be like one of the craziest drama thrillers of all time if this was somehow a movie. But man, this story's crazy. So you've probably heard the story of FTX by this point. It's been absolutely dominating the headlines over the last few days. If you don't, essentially, they were one of the big players in crypto. They've had this meteoric rise over the last few years to the point where they're sponsoring basketball arenas and controlling so much money in people's wallets and accounts through cryptocurrency. They were one of the giants, man. They were one of the big dogs in crypto. It was getting to the point where Sam Bankman-Fried, who is the founder and CEO of FTX, was getting hailed as like the next Warren Buffett, bro. Like, he was like 28 years old, 30 years old or something, and people were looking at him like he was a god, like he was some sort of genius. But of course, the entire puzzle, it just fell to the floor, man. The tower has collapsed at this point. The whole story's out there, and well, not the whole story. A lot of the stories out there, a lot of the initial stories out there, but I think over the next few months, we're really going to start to learn even more things on top of this that are just going to blow this whole thing open. But today, I kind of just want to go through and kind of unravel some of the situation behind this entire thing, right? And kind of talk about this entire thing, right? Because it seems like, I mean, like in yesterday's video, I was surprised, and I feel like a lot of other people like were really surprised to hear this news, right? To see this whole thing unfold the way that it did, right? So, like I said, they've been hailing this Sam Bankman-Fried as some sort of like hero, From what I understand, he's apparently vegan, and he preached that he had like this one lifestyle, right? Oh, I drive a Toyota Corolla, man. I don't own these big possessions, I'm not materialistic and all this, right? He kind of played it off as like he was some sort of super humble guy who, didn't drive in fancy cars and live in fancy houses, He just kind of lived like a normal person, man. Well, it appears that he was faking this whole personality the entire time. It turns out that allegedly this guy's been living in the Bahamas in a multi-million-dollar mansion this whole time with all these other executives and all these other business people. And guess what they've been doing, right? They've been apparently, from what's coming out now, having sex-fueled, drug-fueled orgies with one another. All these people apparently were dating, quote-unquote, and they dated each other off and on and all this, aka they were having sexual relationships all with each other and with one another at different times, and they were real big on the use of stimulants before work and all this other shit, right? So yeah, these fucking billionaires and multimillionaires were all sleeping in this mansion together, sleeping with each other, doing drugs left and right like a fucking Wolf of Wall Street party. But yet Sam Bankman-Fried was being hailed as this guy who, lived such a humble lifestyle, right? And this isn't even the best part yet, right? Like, it's already crazy enough, but dude, it gets crazier. You want to know about this bankruptcy? What's really weird about it? None of this shit makes any sense when you look at it. The people involved in this story are just simply not only fucking weird, but they're pretty much incompetent in all reality. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and show you footage of the Alameda CEO. This is the woman that was dating Sam Bankman-Fried, right? There's a lot of very shady connections between these two people that really indicate this entire thing was kind of a huge scam, right? Go ahead here. This is 40 seconds of an interview with her, and I just want to react to some of the things that she says and let you guys see the intelligence level of these supposed gods that were involved in this story.
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. I use very little math. use a lot of like elementary school math.
All right, so apparently they just use elementary school math at the level of being CEO of multi-million, if not billion-dollar companies. I haven't done too much research into Alameda. It is a different company than FTX, but there's a lot of crazy connections between the two that really kind of looks like it was some sort of like business and sexual partnership between the CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and her. But yeah, apparently, you know, they're just using fucking third grade math. You know, think like a 9-year-old when you're the CEO of a company, right?
Being comfortable with risk is very important. We tend not to have things like stop losses. I think those aren't necessarily a great risk management tool.
All right, so if you trade money at all and you heard what she just said, you should be kind of like fucking stunned, okay? She just said that stop losses are not good risk management tools. So if you're not an investing mind and you've never invested money, let me explain what a stop loss is really quick. Essentially, a stop loss is a limit you can place to where, like, if a stock reaches a certain value, it automatically sells your shares. You can put these orders through. Let's say I buy Apple at, you know, 145. I set a stop loss for 140, right? In case it goes down. Essentially, that would lock me to only losing $5 at most instead of it potentially going to 130 and me losing a shit ton of money. So if you put a stop loss 5% below what you have now, the most amount of money you're going to lose is 5%, right? She's telling you that's not a good risk management tool. Being able to like limit your losses and like not lose everything like a lot of people who are investing in crypto have now, that's bad risk management ideas to her, man. Like, who the fuck? These people are running companies, dude. They're running investing companies and companies based around crypto investments, and they don't even use fucking stop losses, dude. Oh my god. Let's continue.
Trying to think of a good example of a trade where I've lost a ton of money. Well, I don't know. I probably don't want to go into specifics too much with that.
Yeah, once again, these are the people running companies, dude. These are the guys and gals making decisions when it comes to these companies. So they're fucking idiots. At least this one's a complete moron, right? But the rabbit hole gets even deeper in this situation, man. It gets even fucking deeper. So Sam Bankman-Fried, who once again is the founder and CEO of FTX, turns out has some pretty massive connections with the Democrats. So not only is Sam Bankman-Fried's mom a potential huge player in the Democratic Party and in Democratic activism and whatnot, but Sam Bankman-Fried alone was the second largest donor to the Joe Biden campaign for president. And he was committing to donating up to $1 billion in the 2024 election, most likely in favor of the Democrats, to help get a Democratic president elected. Oh, but you thought that was crazy, right? You thought that was nuts. Oh, it gets even fucking deeper with the government, right? So it turns out that Bankman-Fried here might have actually had connections with the SEC, and it's so well known that Representative Tom Emmer, who is a congressman, I believe, is now talking about reports of FTX working with the SEC to basically gain a regulatory monopoly, which would mean that a federal government organization, the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, could have potentially worked with FTX to basically create a regulatory monopoly. Why is this believed? Why do people think this? It turns out that the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, has personal connections with Bankman-Fried, and on March 23rd of 2022, there was actually a meeting with members of the staff of Chair Gensler between IEX and FTX to discuss custody of digital asset securities by special purpose broker-dealers, quote, including the unique risks associated with custody of digital asset securities, and the conditional no-action relief discussed in the statement. And by the way, Bankman-Fried was at that meeting personally. So, by the way, Bankman-Fried went to MIT, and Gensler, the SEC chair, by the way, is an alumni and advisor at MIT. So the people, like the conspiracy theories are going wild now. People are speculating all kinds of crazy things. Am I going to sit here and pretend to have the answer to what this all means? Not necessarily, but the connections are definitely there, and it's very suspicious how this whole thing played out, you know what I mean? Suddenly billions of dollars are just vanishing. Bankman-Fried is having to refute reports of getting on a plane to Argentina trying to avoid authorities. It's just an insane rabbit hole, and only more is going to come out. You know what I mean? Only more is going to come forward, and people are going to be able to, you know, expose different things. And it's going to be an insane situation. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @subtheoptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about this whole FTX rabbit hole and signing out.